this thing out. That's good. If there's anybody in here, I'm just taking a quick second to get set up. Unfortunately, I thought I had set up my stream to be um, horizontal, but it's not, and I don't want to jump out of it because the last time I did it kind of messed it up. So here's hoping that I can at least make the live work. If you're tuning in, feel free to turn your phone sideways. And thank you for joining me. We'll get started in just a second. But if you're here and you've never done nails before, I'd love to know what you got going on. As a content creator, as a nail tech, I am here to teach y'all and also answer questions. So if you've never done nails before, if you have and you'd like to answer some or ask some questions, feel free to do so. I'm here to help. Everybody is able to do your nails. It's more than functional to do, or it's more than easy to do, I should say. And the last thing I'm just trying to check is my volume. So if you are here and you can hear me, you can let me know if my volume is good. That would be helpful. You can leave me a thumbs up. That would be helpful. Otherwise, I'm going to turn this up all the way. Welcome to my live stream. I do my own nails. My name is T. This is something I've been doing for a while now, and it's something I do to help me save some cash because we all know it costs a pretty dollar these days to get your nails done, so why not try to do it yourself? Doing it for a couple years. Here are the nails that I need to do. I'm working with some very simple tools today. I'm working with a cuticle pusher. I am also working with a basic nail file. I have a dust brush. I am working with an electric file. They are not hard to work with. If you don't have one, you can get them on Amazon, but before you use them, I would strongly advise you learn to use them by way of either watching videos or practicing. And just slow and steady wins the race. All right, so here's what I'm working with. Before I start any session, I always make sure to spray my nails with alcohol. This is a way to quickly sterilize or sanitize your hands. I'm not interested in going long in my nails today. They are going to be light. All right, I have y'all up and checking to see if y'all do your own nails or not. I put a poll in the chat just to get an idea for if any of y'all are out here doing your own nails. Alright, I got a lot of people saying no, yes, like a 50-50. Why don't you do your own nails? Do you prefer to be pampered, or is it too complicated? How do you find, or why do you find you don't do your own nails? I am praying to God my chat is working, because y'all sometimes while I'm working, I may not be able to answer via chat, but if I see something pop up, I will do my best to answer. I know you gotta be subscribed to ask questions, so just a heads up. All right, let's get into this. So I'm gonna start with the e-file, and I'm gonna start by taking down my current nails. I do work with a nail fan. It also helps to keep the nail dust down. So if you're having a hard time hearing me, let me know. I'm hoping that my volume is correct. At this point, all I'm gonna do is take my nails down. I broke one here. Oh, you know what? Let me show y'all what went down. This is why this gotta happen. First of all, I broke a nail while I was working. I don't know what happened, but this is just broke, okay? So that right there cheesed me. But then I had another nail right here, and for some reason, it cracked, it split, it broke. You can probably see it there. If you could see it, leave me a thumbs up, let me know. Damn, I hope this chat's working. Anyways, so yeah, so these need to be done. They're also growing out. It's been about 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks, somewhere around those lines. So I want to make sure I take care of that quick fast. When you're doing your nails, you want to make sure that you do not take forever long to handle them when they need to be handled. Make sure, all right, let's hope that changed something. Make sure you take care of your breaks and your cracks and whatever, because you know what? Dirt, germs, and all that can get into that crack, and it can cause infections, and the last thing you want to do is have an infection in your pretty nails. So do your best to take care of it once it happens. I don't want to go along with my nails, so I'm taking them basically all the way down, or as down as I can. I'm probably going to go with the same shape, just works for me. The e-file that I'm working with, I am working at a high speed, but that's because I am accustomed to it. So if you're ever going to work with an e-file, please make sure you practice before you just use it, because you don't want that to get messed up. You don't want to mess up your hands. Taking down your nails is not hard either when you're working with a file with a high speed. What's important to remember is you got to let the file do the work. And the file bit that I'm using is a ceramic bit. Basically, it's not intended to cut, but you still got to be careful. A ceramic bit can be used to remove product, which is essentially what I'm doing. I currently have acrylic on my nails. So I'm just taking down the acrylic, which is like overlaid on my natural nails, and I'm gonna just refill it in. That's how I'm able to keep my nails long, because I generally keep them covered with an acrylic or with an enhancement. And I can also do a little bit of shaping with this file, but not too much, because it is possible to go too far and I don't want to be putting nothing back. Anybody that's completed the poll, thank you. Honestly, I can't see chat right now, so I'm going to check it in a second when I remove the dust from my hands. I want to know if y'all could see me properly and if y'all could hear me. When you're working with the ceramic bit, your objective is to do as much removal as possible. This is the bit that'll take out all the heavy product. So like if you had gel polish on top of your acrylic, you'll cut through the polish with it, and then you'll cut through your surface layer of acrylic with it. Essentially, the surface layer of acrylic that you're cutting through, you're just doing that in order to, oops, see, look at that, look what happened. You're doing that in order to just get to the surface layer so you can refresh it. You're not trying to take it all the way off, especially if you're doing a refill. You don't have to take all the product completely off. Remember, you're refilling from the bottom part here outwards. So you're really refilling the back end. The front end, you don't need to take all of that off and then get charged all over again just to have it put back. A refill, when you're doing a refill on your nails, you're essentially just filling in the portion that's no longer covered with the product that you started with. If you do a colored acrylic, okay, you might have to remove the whole entire thing to do a new color, but generally not necessarily, because you should be able to just apply the new stuff on top if you thin out the stuff that you're removing. I'm gonna check this shot in a sec. I'm gonna fix it. Forgive me, y'all. I'm also curious to know where people are tuning in from. Every time I try to set up a nail live, I feel like I did it right, and then when it's time to actually do it, and trust me, I'm like troubleshooting 10 minutes before the start of it, and I still can't get it right. So bear with me, y'all. It's a learning curve. Y'all gotta start somewhere. One day I will be a pro. It's either that or just y'all in comment, which is all entirely possible too. I know myself and I am humble, trust. All right. So that's my first hand, and essentially all I did was I went in, I removed the acrylic, took it down. I'm gonna brush it off. I always try to work with clean. I have a lot more dust than usual because essentially I have this thing turned down. All right, let's get back in. So I am right-handed, which means I am going to work on my non-dominant hand, which I'm not really good at doing. So prepare to laugh, or even possibly watch me not do so well, or also work very much slower. When I'm working on my non-dominant hand, I don't play. I am not here to impress nobody. Yes, I'm a professional nail tech, but I am not perfect at what I do. Almost none of us are. So it's important to remember to check yourself and just take your time and do what you need to do. Find a place to balance your hand, work with the hand that you have available, and cut through the product gently. Remember, the E file will do the work if you're running it fast enough, so you don't have to press hard or dig in. You literally just skim across the top as you're getting the product to be removed. And that's when you're working with the hand that you're not used to, your non-dominant hand. This is another reason why it's good to work with a ceramic bit instead of like a coarse carbide bit. The carbide bit is the thick one with the chunky teeth that people are afraid of sometimes because when it works fast, it could definitely cause some damage and it can cut you. But you see how I'm going here close to my skin? I'm on my skin, it doesn't hurt or doesn't cut. So working with a carbide bit is not the best in this circumstance because again, you have to remove old product and you don't want to touch your skin accidentally and cut yourself. So ceramic bits are good for this. I'm not using an arbor band, which is like the file one, the brown one that sometimes you'll see, because that's not meant to remove this type of product. It's not intended to remove, what's going on with this shot? It's not intended to remove, all right, my bad. It's not intended to remove heavy product. It's just remember to remove surface stuff. What's up, 34 Nails? Okay, thank God the chat is working. I just needed to check. Thank you, babe. If you can hear me, can you let me know? Because I can't check my sound. But as you can see here, I'm doing a takedown. Thank you for joining me. I hope you're doing well. And happy birthday to your daughter, I think it was. I saw the baby's picture today. Thank you for the thumbs up. Yeah, happy birthday to your daughter. I hope she has a wonderful day if that was today or the day before. Oh, something else, when you're working with your opposite hand and you're working with the e-file, you're working in the opposite direction. So right now, I am running my file in reverse, not forward. When I work on my left hand, I will work in the forward motion. When I work on my right hand, I will work in reverse. This can be intimidating to anybody that's never done it before. Everything is for when it's something is new. But I can almost guarantee you, you don't even need to have an entire nail salon in your house. You can legit do some basic nail care and still keep natural, healthy nails with a basic like covering like a gel or an acrylic, and do it yourself at home. I'm not trying to knock, my own business. Yes, I'm a nail tech. I like to make the monies, but some people don't have the time. I get that. But if you're genuinely interested in doing your own nails, it's not hard to learn. I promise you that. The interest alone, because it's not something everybody can do, that should give you some clout. All right, this is the broken one, so it's going to come as much down as possible. I might rebuild it, or I might, let me see how it goes. I might not take it down at all. I might just leave it short. I'm not fussy about my nails having to all be the same length. I'm not anal like that. And that's just simply because things happen. I'm a working individual. Things will break. Oh, her birthday is tomorrow. Okay, well, sending her happy birthday blessings. Another year around the sun, and hopefully many, many more to come. 34 Nails, I know you do a lot of lives, so if you have any suggestions for me while you're on here, don't hesitate to throw those in the chat and let me know, or send me an email after the fact. I would love some feedback on how this is looking or working or appearing, because even if I got to bring down my camera a little bit, I don't mind, but I just want to know what the experience is like for the people viewing the live. And thank you so much. So you see that one that I broke there? I'm going to try to take off as much of this acrylic on the back end as possible and the front end. It's basically done. This was a nail that I had broke in my last session. I think I rebuilt the free edge of it. Truthfully, I don't even have to really take it all off. I can salvage it. This is cracked legit all the way through. So you know what? Let's see how long through this process this split nail will last. I may not get rid of it at all. I might just keep it and just fill it with a fix to fix it. Sorry. I tried to put my stream horizontal, and I preset the stream and it went vertical. So I'm kind of cheesed about that, but it is what it is. Show must go on, no true? All right, so just skimming your surface, no hardcore pressing, no deep drilling, no... If you go to a spot to do your nails and they dig deep down, there's something wrong, okay? Don't let that happen. I'm working towards getting a new phone at some point. It's about time. You'll see videos and you'll see nails done in like 30 seconds flat. 30 minutes flat. It's possible, depending on the type of nail that you're doing. But generally expect to spend about maybe an hour. If you really want to give yourself true love, nail love, about an hour should suffice, depending on what you're doing. So I said earlier, I'm not taking off all of the product. I'm just taking off mainly the surface layer and any additional bulk that came and grew out in that last 3-week time frame. Whew. All right, this is the one I hate the most, my thumb. So to take it down, I'm just pressing it up into the E-file or pressing the E-file down into the nail. And then when I'm ready to start doing kind of a shape, I'm gonna go in and make sure the underneath part is nice and thin out. And then I'm just gonna come in and shape it. Very gently, but shape it. Oops. Okay, let me start with the top. See, I hate this one. Hold on. Let me get my armrest. Pretending like I need to invert my hand is ridiculous. Let me keep it 100. Here's the armrest that I need to use. Because I can't keep my hand a certain kind of way. I could probably turn this and do this the other way, but y'all, But I want you to notice how even, like I'm removing the product because I have to take down some of this bulk, but I'm also not pressing hard. You see, I'm like gently kissing the surface. I'm letting the file do the work. You don't need to dig down into your nail. And the truth is, you're looking at the surface of your nail And you're looking to see if the shine has been removed. That's what you're looking for. You're removing that shine because that's what tells you you've gotten down from the surface layer. Remember, you apply a top coat and it's usually very shiny. That's what you're taking off. And underneath, like when it grows out, just clean that up. I like my nails narrow, so I'm kind of trying to get it to be some kind of in a narrow space, but it's probably not going to happen. Sometimes I get that lift at the tip of my nail that I hate more than anything. Hi, RX Nails. What's poppin'? Thank you for joining my live. Hope you're good. All right, so again, non-dominant hand is going to take me a little longer than the typical other side, but also I want you to notice the whole time I was removing product, there was no lifting. You didn't see, here, I'll show you. You don't see lift, well, this is the broken one, but you don't see lifting at the tips of any of my nails. There's a little bit of free stuff, like there's a little bit of additional acrylic, and really that's growth for me. But there's no, there's legit no lifting acrylic on the nail where it's like, oh my God, my nail's about to pop off, even on the one that's split. So pay attention to that because that will tell you if the product that you're using might maybe need not be good, and or it can tell you if maybe the liquid might not be good, and or it can tell you that maybe you're not cleaning the nail enough before applying the product. So there could be dust, and that's why it's not sticking to the nail. And that's why it lifts off in that area. So know that those things for if you get acrylic applied and the edge part over here where you see me cleaning, if that part starts lifting up all the time, it could be one of those three reasons. All right, done. Over it. When I do my nails, sometimes if I have an event, I'll do them for fancy, but more times it's more about just maintenance and general upkeep. I like to have presentable hands. After I remove my product, I am coming in to push back my cuticles. This is a good way to give yourself more surface area to work on, as well as clean up that back area so that extra dirt and dust can get out of there as quickly as possible. And that will also, you don't have to be so rough. That will also help your product to stay on better. Oops. I'm curious to know what city or what part of the world everybody's tuning in from. I've been checking analytics and it's interesting to see the reach. And again, if you do have any questions, you're welcome to throw them in the chat so I can help you answer. And it's anything related to nails or any general Q&A, please be respectful. I'll answer what I can. So this is the acrylic drill bit I was speaking on, okay? Or sorry, the ceramic drill bit that I'm using. I am next gonna go into a cuticle cleaner. You don't have to do this, but I usually do because as you can see, like in here, I get really, where's my camera? Oh, here it is. I get really grown in skin in those regions. I've had damage in my hands from the time I was young, so I just usually come in to do a little bit of an extra cleanup because I always have a little bit of extra growth. But when I'm coming in, the bit that I'm using is not something that's like I'm not pressing hard. You can see here, I'm just gently going across. And I don't plan to do anything major other than try to clean out my sides as best I can, and also in that cuticle region as best I can. I am running the bit in the same direction all the time. I am not pressing down hard. I'm just barely grazing the surface. I'm also not running it at a fast speed. You should always be in control of the e-file. And the best way to work with any bit is parallel to the nail bed. I also like to do this for most people because I don't like to use cuticle cutters, cuticle clippers. You see when I showed you what tools I was working with, I did not pull out any cuticle nippers, and that's generally because I don't like to use cutting tools when I work. I don't like to use nippers or anything that can potentially cut a client during the service. I don't think they're always necessary. For some people, they might be, but I think there's alternatives that could be utilized before you generally go to cut somebody. Or use that level of a instrument if you're not well versed. So I don't actually recommend it for amateurs. You can use a regular hand file to go around this area and clean this out. You do not need to use this, and I will shortly show you how you can do that with a hand file. What's the weather like for everybody today? I have a thunderstorm rolling through. I'm hoping it doesn't happen while I'm doing my live. We had a thunderstorm a couple days ago, or like a week or so ago, and it flooded a lot of the regions in the greater Toronto area, which is where I'm from. Even Drake's house happened to get flooded, which was kind of sucky, man. Like, I don't want to be none of those folks having to deal with that. I couldn't imagine. Sucks. So you can see that I'm not working at a crazy fast speed because I'm not moving very quickly, and this is live, and I'm just gently going around this area. You'll have a lot of people tell you not to do these corners with this type of a tool because it's gonna thin it out. But I'm not doing it to thin that area. I'm doing it because I have more than enough buildup to clean. Once the buildup is clean, I stop working in that region. I don't press down hard. It's literally to clean that surface. Yuck. And if you look here, you can already see the difference. And that's just a quick cleanup. All right. Next is the arbor band, or the one that most people are used to when they go into a spot to do their nails, which looks like this. Ooh, I hope that works. This is not to remove product, y'all. I mean, there are coarse ones that can, but generally no. Also, before you use something like this, it does need to be dulled down. So you should be running it across another hand file gently to allow it to dull a little bit before you get in here, because this will cut you. I'm also not running it at a very quick speed. So you could see here, it's on my skin, doesn't hurt, doesn't stop. I'm going at a pretty good speed. So I'm literally just gonna come around and brush the surface part of my nail. And then also just use it to kind of clean up and even out that removal that I just did. It does not have to be perfect. You don't dig in, don't press in like this. That's a no. You're working at an angle that's parallel to the nail like this, or else you can hurt yourself. You ever, there's something called rings of fire. I'm sure some of you might have heard the term, and it's essentially when your nail grows out and this back area here looks like layers or looks like little rings. That's what happens when you press too hard with this particular file. So please be careful and don't press hard. See? Gentle, gentle. If you have, you know, a slight bout of OCD, you can get easily caught up in trying to be perfect when you're doing this. Don't let that happen to you. Take a deep breath and keep pushing. It doesn't have to be perfect. If it's not going fast enough, you can gently shape the edge of your nail. But be careful, because that one, yeah, it's hard. Or it takes practice, not that it's hard. Also, because I use the little cuticle bit, when I come back with this, I don't really go deep into that cuticle area. I've kind of already done it, so I don't want to over file that section. And this is being done on my natural nails. I don't have I didn't I don't do tips. I don't have extensions. Um I do do oh my goodness, why can't I speak all of a sudden? Sorry. Let me regather myself. I do extensions, but I do them by way of sculpting, which basically means I make my tips. I don't add them. It's just my preference. Do what works best for you, what you feel most comfortable with. Experiment, because the truth is you're not going to know what you like unless you try a few things. But these regions do need to be cleaned properly if you want your nails to stay and not get or not be lifting. If you're using any product, acrylic, gel, tips, glue, anything, you want to make sure these regions are super duper properly clean. And sometimes do dust as you go, because you might think that you didn't cover an area and you might go over it several times thinking it looks like it's not done, but you know you've run the e-file over it so many times. Sometimes it's just clear the dust away so you can see with fresh eyes or with a fresh surface if there's anything else that still needs to get retouched or a second pass. Don't just keep running over, thinking that you're covering the area when you're not. Also, watch your corners. These corners of your nails are what give you your strength when you're growing your nails long. You do not want to thin those out. You want them to grow as naturally as possible. So try your best not to overfile them. All right. Non-dominant fun time. If anybody has any questions related to nails or any questions that they need to ask, don't hesitate. You could throw that in the chat, okay? But please be respectful. Arbor bands like this generally have, I want to call a beginning, a middle, and an end, or a top, a middle, and a tip. And depending on which part of the nail you're working on will determine which part of the tip touches. So for example, if I'm working on the middle of my nail, the middle of the tip is touching. If I'm working on the edge of my nail, the edge of that is touching. If I'm working on this end is touching. So rotating that while you're working also matters, but just know what you're working on before you decide to turn the e-file and touch yourself, okay? Because you don't want no accidents. And it's kind of built to get into those areas if you allow it to the way it's supposed to. If you force it, like I can't get this part. If I use this end to try and do this, what am I doing? I'm brushing the thing against my skin. If I use the middle, I'm still not getting the whole area. So obviously it makes sense to use the tip. But I'm not going to go and use the tip now for here because that doesn't make sense. I'm not going to use the tip for the middle because why? I need to use it parallel. So find that space where it works and touch and go. There are so many videos. I think I'm going to also do like how to use the e-file just because now they're so readily available. A lot of these professional companies sell their products to the general public too. So it's like if you're going to use something and they don't, I'm not saying they don't put out how to use, but they don't always put out how to use. It's the people using them that teach you. But also too, the people that are teaching you usually are brand ambassadors, so they're getting paid. I'm not getting paid. I'm not. In other words, if I'm not getting paid, I'm not necessarily about to teach people how to use your product, but I'll tell you how to do it in a general sense, and you could figure out the rest anyway, or fill in the gaps as you go. Most people are intimidated to do their own nails. Sometimes they see all of these machines and they think, oh my gosh, it's complicated, but you can learn anything you put your mind to. And trust me, there's enough for everybody to go around, so you're not putting nobody out of business. It's also a shift in the clientele. There's more opportunities, actually. There's more hands available than people thought before. So also knowing like the company that you use your products from is important. Don't buy no bootleg products off the street because if you don't use the proper products and they have the wrong ingredients, that ish will eat away at your nail top. See? So don't do it. If you're gonna do your own nails, it makes sense to invest the money in something that's proper and learn to use it so you don't literally catch something or you know, lose nails because you wanted to go the cheap route. Nails are not meant to be cheap. Everything costs money. Beauty is not cheap. And it also doesn't have to be cheap. It just needs to be functional. Like, get in where you fit in. Don't try to fit in where you don't belong. You can fake it till you make it, but you might get burnt, man. So just work within your parameters and buy quality products. There are plenty of companies out there that will sell you quality products. You may see a few in my video today. All right, so this is my non-dominant. Almost done. And I do apologize again for the video rotation. I tried to make it go horizontal, but I'll figure it out one day. When you're a new channel, they generally tell you, hi Riri, what's good? Riri, how are you? Sorry, I just saw you jumped in. When you're a new content creator, they generally tell you to make improvements every video that you put out. So every time I come out here trying to do something, I ask for the people to give me feedback because it helps me to make my improvements. All right, so here's where I'm at in terms of removal. I'm almost ready to apply the new stuff. I just now got to file it. This is a brand new file. Before you use a brand new file on anybody, including yourself, make sure you dull it down like this. So just go around the edges. Because the same way like the arbor band that can cut you, this, when you get into the corners, if you don't properly dull it down, will cut you as well. All right, so we're just gonna jump into doing a quick shape up. I don't want anything too fancy. I don't need anything fancy. I just need my nails to look like they didn't get run over by a truck. I generally like to keep an oval shape. Most people don't know this, but here's a nail tip for you. When you are shaping your nails, I was taught the most flattering shape for your nail. Oh, hold on. Sorry. The most flattering shape for your nail is whatever the shape of your cuticle is. So if your cuticle is like this, then this top should be the same. That's the most flattering. Remember I said earlier, I'll show you how to go around the edges like this to clean your cuticle without using an e-file. This is what I mean. You would literally just go across the surface of your nail, around the corners, just like this, gently. And that's why dulling down the edges is important, because you don't want to be doing this and then accidentally cut yourself because the file was too sharp. It's also nice to do that after you've shaped it up because it helps you to just kind of give it a nice, more softer surface, or flat/rough surface for your new product to be applied to. I'm hungry. Did everybody eat? I need to go eat something. When you're using an e-file, or sorry, not an e-file, when you're using a regular file like this on your natural nails, the higher the file number, the better it is for your natural nail. When you're working with something that has an acrylic or a gel on it, the middle of the file number is okay. The lowest file number is for when you're working with like some staunch, hardcore acrylic. So Do not use a file that has a number of 90 on your natural nails, is what I'm saying. On your natural nails, you would use a file that has a number of like 240. And that's those numbers I'm talking about are called grits. And those grits are how rough or soft the file is. You don't want to use a super rough file on your super natural nail. It's not smart. That would be like using the equivalent of a ceramic bit on your natural nails, and you know that's going to cut you up. So don't do it. I'm not fussy again with regards to the shape because this is maintenance. I just kind of want it somewhere around there. If anybody is here that does their own nails, how long have you been doing your own nails for? I'm curious. All right, so that's shaped for me there. I like it. If you want to make your nails narrow when you're filing, don't file it like this. Like this. It won't get narrow. File it like this for it to be narrow. All right, see, you can get real caught up in doing that process. But anyways, so that's the first hand. It's basically all cleaned up and filed and ready for new application. I'm just gonna come through now and quickly shape my non-dominant. Again, because I already know that this is shorter than all of the other ones, I'm not stressing in regards to having it to shape a certain kind of way. I'm just going to let it grow itself out and it will be back to normal in no time. When you regularly take care of your nails, you'll see how fast they actually end up growing back out. When you give that regular cuticle care and you do that regular cuticle cleanup, you'll notice that your nails will probably start growing in a lot faster. So be prepared for that, because a lot of people don't expect that when they start doing their nails. They think, oh, it's going to take forever to grow, but it really doesn't. A couple weeks, 2, 3 weeks, you can have a good amount of length to start, even if you're starting with a brand new, very short set. I'm going under like this because the underneath is rough, considering I just basically took off all the product, had a couple weeks of growth. So in order to ensure that it matches what I'm trying to do, I go underneath and clear out the rough so it's smooth going all the way across. Don't thin it out too much though, because if it doesn't have the support it needs, it will break. When you're also when you're shaping your nails, take your time and go. Don't overdo one side without checking the other side. So don't do this whole side and then think you're gonna come back and do the next side and it's gonna even out. Because sometimes you'll lose the length as you keep going back and forth. So do one side with a couple strokes, then go back and do the other side, so that way you do not fall prey to having an uneven or not enough length to now finish the shape that you want to have. And you look at it from all angles and sides to be able to see um, that the shape is coming out the way you want it to, or that at least it's forming in the direction that you want it to, so you don't overdo it basically. All right, so nah, let's see. All right, I'll leave that one as is. All right, so that one's now done. Oops. After I finished shaping or pre-shaping, I'm gonna come in and I'm just gonna clean off my nails, get all of the dust away. Yes, I'm using a liquid. It just helps to give it a cleaner um, after, or a cleaner whatever after. You know what I'm trying to say, y'all. Can't speak. And because I'm a little bit extra, I overdo it as usual, but I don't care. It works, y'all. Huh. That's why my nails last so long. All right, so here is what we're working with after we have um, removed the old product, did a cleanup, filed them and shaped them. Now we are going to apply our acrylic. Before we do, I am going to just put a protein bond on my hand. I use this all the time. I love it like I love cooked food because it works at keeping my natural nail protected as well as letting the new product adhere without issue. I would strongly suggest, if you're putting overlays or any type of nail enhancement on your nail, it doesn't have to be a major barrier, but always keep a slight barrier between your natural nail and whatever that product is, especially if you don't know where it's coming from. Because y'all, I've seen some things. Anybody that uses professional nail products should be able to tell you where they come from and, for the most part, what's on the ingredient list, because they do come with that, you know. Some people are allergic to acrylic and gel products. It's trial and error sometimes too. It could be the formulation from one company to another. Some companies don't include a lot of the major chemicals that people are afraid of, toluene And what are my big five? Toluene, something, something, something. Hold on, I'll tell you in a second. All right. So, what are the big five? The big five are no toluene, formaldehyde, BHA, camphor, or DPB. I got stuck on the DPB one. But anyways, those are supposed to be the things that are not supposed to be in your nail products. And so make sure when you buy them, you know that. Here is what it looks like after I applied the little protection. I'm just using a neutral acrylic powder. I'm not interested in anything fancy, like I said earlier. I might add a little bit of glitter, but let's see what my time is looking like because I don't want to be on this forever long. Before you use any acrylic when you're taking it out of somewhere, just make sure you mix it up. Give it a little bit of a mix up. Because if it's been sitting for a while, it might need that. If you're working where you're pressed for time, consider heating up your monomer liquid, your nail liquid. It helps. All right, so we're going to go into application of the acrylic now. Because I'm doing a refill, some people would say, oh, just start from basically like this part and come out and then just allow it to set back. But for me, I'm not fussy neither here nor there. You do what works for you. What works for others may not be what works for you, and that's okay. Just finding the right balance of your liquid to powder, that's more important. You don't need to apply a whole bunch of acrylic at once if you're just getting started, or gel at once if you're just getting started. You can legit just start with a little bit at a time and get your feet wet with how you apply the product. I think I want a little bit of glitter, but I think I put too much. When you're applying acrylic to your nails, it's probably better to do more than less because you can take off any excess. And when you're applying it to your natural nail, you don't need to overflow or do too much. Just make sure you watch your corners. You get enough support in your corners, right there. Okay, because the corners, again, when you're growing your nails long, that's where your strength is going to come from. Always wipe your brush off before you dip it back in the liquid. And just do a quick check of it from all sides. It's a little thick, but I'm going to thin it out just now. Remember, if you do have any questions, you can feel free to ask. When you're applying an overlay of acrylic on your natural nail, you don't want a thick application. because then your nail is going to look mad bulky. You don't want that. You want your nail to look proper, or like, as natural as possible. You're literally just giving it like a protective coating on top. You're not giving it no heavy um, processing or no heavy product requirement. It's just a very liberal amount. When you're wiping your brush onto the surface towel, also make sure that's clean. So every time your brush goes down somewhere, make sure the area is clean. Some people like gel more than acrylic. Some people like acrylic more than gel. You can flip flop between both. If I wanted to, I could have taken gel and applied that on top of this. It's not like one or the other. Like they're basically the same product. A lot of people don't know that. But you do what works for you. You don't have to do um, one or the other. You work what works for you. Sometimes working with gel, you might have a less amount of time to do your application. So working with gel is the only option you have because you just need to quick and go. Sometimes working with acrylic, you have a little bit more time to give to do your application process. So you're not really going to stress yourself out. Just you're going to take your time and do the acrylic. It's completely up to you what works. Just know when you're doing acrylic, because you're using a liquid, there is a smell to the liquid, and that may not be for everybody, which is sometimes a lot of the reason why people want to go to gel, because the liquid is overwhelming for them in their spaces. So if you're going to work with acrylic, make sure your area is properly ventilated, and also make sure that you are prepared to have that smell, that like, liquid, that nail salon smell basically in your space. They do have companies that make the product that doesn't smell. I've tried a few here and there. My honest overall is that all of them are going to smell. It's just how much they smell will be the question, but they're all going to. And you just have to decide what level you want to handle in your space. Some smell a lot more than others. I do know that. Why, I don't know. Which is why, again, it's good to know where you're getting your products from. You'll also see when I apply my acrylic, I'm not using beads and or balls as some people might say. I'm legit just kind of just putting it on there. Um, what do I want to say? Spackling it? No, that's not the right word. Um, I'm not sure what word set to use for how I'm applying my acrylic, but I am doing it liberally, meaning very small amounts, because I have small nails, and I'm also making sure I don't make it too thick. I hope I'm giving you guys good camera angle. I don't even know why I'm adding glitter. I was just like, let's add something to help minimize me having to do a design after the fact. Glitter is a great way to do that, by the way, because it kind of just instantly takes on its own design, or can create its own type of design. All right, almost done. Acrylic liquid usually moves in the direction of gravity, so if you want it to go down, aim down. Or it can run in whatever direction gravity is pulling it. People don't realize that sometimes, so just know um, the liquid will run in the direction of gravity. I have been doing my natural nails for years. Um, I don't, what people say take a break, I generally don't, or I can't say that I have. Um, I've never encountered any issues with my nails, but I also think that's because I'm informed about the products that I'm using, which is why I always encourage people to make sure you know where you're getting your products from. Nails don't breathe. That's a myth. If you heard your nails need to breathe, I mean, don't get me wrong. If you're a person that wears tips or whatever, sometimes, like even for me, I go short because I need a break from it just being long. But nails don't breathe, so that's foolishness. All right, so that's the first hand overlays done. It's basically dry. You can tell because, or maybe you can't, but it's basically dry because it's more or less matte at this point. And when the thing comes in matte, oops, that tells you that it's dry. All right, so I'm gonna jump on to the next one. Oops. My non-dominant hand, which you know I hate doing. All right, so something about the non-dominant hand, yo. It's just like, I guess because you don't really use it like this, but it's weird. Sometimes I feel like I do better application with this one than I do with my regular hand. Oh snap! I hope you guys can see this. Something else you got to be careful with when you're working with warmer liquid is the fact that it dries faster, right? So you got to make sure it doesn't get caught in your brush, especially the glitter, because glitter will stay in your brush. And that is how I'm going to secure that free edge. Haha. All right. Just keep going. We're expecting a heat wave to come through weather-wise. I don't know where you guys are all at. Well, I know where some of you are. But I'm curious to know if you guys are dealing with this heat. And if you guys are all right out there, because outside's hot. And it's about to get hotter. Oopsies. You don't want to see that. I'm mad hungry, yo. Glitter is a good way to help you if you really don't want to do no hardcore nail design. Seriously. It's a good way to give yourself a quick little fancy dancy without it having to be complicated. And the good thing is too, when you're doing your nails, hot snap, when you're doing your nails at this level, you can work at a pace that will allow you to shape your nail as you go. So after you're done, your finish filing won't take you 10 hours because you put too much and now you have to shape it back into place. It's legit just going to be a quick shape it back, rough up the top, and you're done. You're good to go. Put a top coat, shine that bad boy, and you're gone. So just know that when you're doing an overlay, taking your time and not going too thick and just gently applying is going to be more helpful to you than anything, because it's going to allow you to quickly get through the process, and then your finishing or your finalizing of this work isn't going to take much effort. And that's important. This is the nail that has the crack. So I'm going to start with glitter. And then I'm just going to come back through and give it a proper overlay. If you use gel products, make sure that your lamp is either an EV lamp, a UV lamp, or LED. Why can't I speak? It's either going to be a UV lamp or an LED lamp that's drying your products. Make sure the lamp works properly, has all the lights, nothing's broken. If it's old, if it's used, sometimes it might need to be changed because the strength is not there anymore. Sorry if I came out of frame. Make sure your light is proper so that it can dry your nails properly, because even if you use a gel product instead of an acrylic, that ish has to dry, and if your lamp is not strong enough, it's not going to dry. You can also get lamps that more readily available than before. Again, it's either a UV or an LED. In America, you guys have more readily accessible items than we do in Canada, so just make sure you check where you're buying your items from and that it's reputable. I would tell you if you have a nail tech, ask them, but some people don't want to tell clients where they get stuff from because they don't want to lose their clients. I can respect that, but also, sharing is caring, y'all. I might not be available one day. You have to handle your business. It takes passion to want to do it all the time. All right, I'm almost done. I'm so hungry. Oh my gosh. There's always a way to apply something, and then you pick up your own ability of how you want to do it as you learn to work with it. So you're going to be told start this way, but everybody develops their own way for doing things. So don't feel no ways if you start a ways and then it doesn't look like what other people are doing. Find your path, man. It's all good. You'll be all right. Just a little bit more on that. There we go. All right, so application is done. I legit just put acrylic over my nails. Again, I apologize to you guys for for the way the camera is right now. Kind of cheesy still, but it is what it is. As soon as you finish working with a product, just close it off because the last thing you want is for junk to get into it and contaminate your mess. All right. Throw your garbage away. My This hand is basically dry, so I can work with it. Again, warming up your nail powder or your nail liquid, sorry, before you start working is a great way to keep it, to help you dry fast. All right. Clean as you go. All right, so we're in the home stretch of this. I want to also turn this off real quick because I want you to hear something. When you work with acrylic, you know it's dry because it'll look matte on top, but you'll also hear it. That clackety clack sound. All of that. All of that is how you know your acrylic is basically dry. It has that clack clack sound, okay? If you don't get that, your acrylic's not ready to be touched. Do not work on filing it or it's just gonna jumble and mess it up. Don't do it. All right, so I've basically finished the application. All I'm gonna do now is go through with this, clean up the top, Then I'm gonna use this bad boy, finish off the shape, and then apply a top coat, and I'm done because ain't nobody got time for no designs today. So we're gonna come back with our E-file, run it at a low speed because we're not trying to take or remove anything. We're just smoothing off the surface real quick and sealing in our cuticle area. And going across the entire surface to make sure it's properly smooth and take out some of that bulky bulk. When you go this slow, it's hard to take the bulk out, so that's why you build slowly, then you don't have to remove a lot when you're done. Something I didn't mention when I was applying the acrylic to my nail was about the apex, which is the high point of the nail that also provides strength. So basically this area here. And that's why I was talking about your corners being important. That apex area, that slight little hump, is what essentially holds your strength as well. So you got to make sure it's not too thick, but it's also not too thin. It's important to your nail structure, even if you're doing an overlay on your natural nails. Because as your nails grow out and get longer, they're going to need support on those sides and across that middle. It's a stress point. You got to make sure you cover the stress point. I'm not using this to take down anything crazy. I'm just using it to clean off the top that I just applied. Make sure it's all smooth out. Make sure my back cuticle area is sealed off and closed out so that it doesn't lift. And it gives a flush seal towards the back of my nail, and it's all one clean look. All right, so get around those cuticles. You can see I'm not digging, I'm going parallel to the nail. And remember, whatever you don't fully catch with this file, don't stress it. You're also gonna still come back through with your hand file. So don't like panic if it's not perfectly smooth. You'll get another opportunity to come through and fix it. All right, so that's my left hand. I have my fan down, so again, it's not gonna pick up all my dust because I need you guys to hear me. All right, let's do this non-dominant hand. Gentle presses, nothing rough, okay, y'all? You don't need to be rough with this thing. It's not necessary. It does the work for you. All right, we're in the home stretch. So doing your nails can take some time, but again, it just depends on what kind of time you have. Whether you do it at a salon, at home, I think your time is interchangeable. Like, for example, if you have a nail tech that does it for you personally, they'll schedule you an appointment. It will be a slot of time. It won't just be your in and out. If you go to a shop, it's not just an in and out because sometimes you got to wait even if you got an appointment. So just always be prepared to spend a little bit of time getting your nails done, whomever you're going to do, even if you're doing it yourself, give yourself that time. Sometimes I don't even have the ability to do it all in one shot. Sometimes I'll start my nails in the morning, and by the nighttime they might or might not be done. It depends on how the day went. But that's when you're doing them on your own. That's something that you can kind of, plan out. So always just make sure you do it when you have scheduled or selected time, hopefully uninterrupted. All right. So we're just going to come through now with the hand file. We are winding down. This is why a hand file is good, because if you came through with the e-file and it didn't get it the way you wanted it to, you can just come back with the hand file and fix it. And again, because you kind of pre-shaped, the best thing is you only have to do the minimal work. You don't even have to do nothing too heavy. Meaning you don't have to you don't have to spend a lot of time reshaping it, because it's already done. It's just cleaning it up at this point. Look at your nail from all angles when you're filing them or shaping them, so you can get a good idea for like where your shaping is at. You can see if it's symmetrical or even, or if you need to make any adjustments from any of the sides. Always stay looking at your nails from all angles. Don't just look at it from the forward side or from the back side. Stay looking at it from all sides so you can make sure it's lining up to what you want it to be when it's final, and that it's symmetrical. Pointy nails are fun until somebody gets poked in the eye. Listen, y'all, the best thing I can tell you is if you're learning to do your own nails, practice makes perfect. Well, no. Practice helps you get better. There's no such thing as perfection, even for professionals. And you're only as hard as on yourself as you need to be. Everybody's got to, if it's something you want to learn, you got to start. We're not all going to get it right out the gate. Just like when you have to learn to swim. Even though it's so interesting, we spend our whole entire gestation in swimming in water, yet for most of us, we kind of have to relearn that skill, which is crazy. All right. I hate my non-dominant hand. I mean, working on it. Almost done. Don't be anal like me, y'all. Don't get caught up in overtly perfecting and perfecting and perfecting. You will spend hours. And then the worst part is sometimes you obsess so much that you remove so much product that you have to go back and reapply. And nobody's going back to reapply no acrylic because I've already put it away. And we don't got time for that. Also, you see how I'm working with the acrylic and it's flaking? Not even flaking, like it's dusty. It's not chacky or it's not pliable or flexy or whatever. What's gooey? That's the word I'm looking for. When you're working with proper acrylic, it doesn't get gooey. Just know that, especially when it's time to remove it. If you're taking acrylic off and it's coming up gooey like gum, something's wrong. That's not a proper product. Check that. All right, I think I can say I am happy. My nails are refreshed. I can walk the street like I'm owned by someone. Ha ha ha. My nails are refreshed. I can walk the street like I have an owner. And bam, that is where we're at after a full refill. Let's see if I can make this light proper. Okay, so I just refilled my nails. The thunder, I can hear it's coming. Oh, yeah, it's coming down. Okay. Let's hope I don't lose my life. All right, last part of what I'm gonna do is a very, very, very quick polish because I don't want to do nothing too hectic. Give me 1 second, let me get my lamp. So my UV lamp. Bam, got that. Does anybody who's in the chat still want to throw up a color I should use for my nails? And pull. Let me know what color I should use for my nails. Base and top. Nobody throws out a color. I'm going to grab some real quick. I'm obsessed with purple, whites, and golds these days. Alright. Oh yeah, it's coming down. I'm so ashamed of myself. My neighbor had a baby and I didn't even know. That girl thought I was nuts. Alright, we're gonna go with a purple and a white and a gold. When you put acrylic on your nails, after that part that I just did where I filed it and finished the shaping, if I don't want to, I do not have to apply a base coat before putting on the polish. Because it's all basically the same product, I can literally just apply the polish straight to my nails without putting on a base coat. Okay? Just as an FYI. Yes, I wipe a lot in between and I do one hand at a time because sometimes even when you're getting the prep stuff together, you can accidentally add dust to your nails. So it's good to kind of wipe it in between. So I am going to apply just a light base coat. Depending on the type of design you're doing, sometimes you might want to do this and then do a matte. It's nice to design on a matte top coat. No, didn't tell me no colors. Okay. I'm also not very much of a nail artist designer type person. I legit just like to keep it simple. A line here or there, maybe a French but nothing balling out of control. And you can get lost in the rabbit hole of stroking your nail over and over and over and over and over again times 100 million, as y'all know, because applying gel polish is something about it. It's just so satisfying. Do you agree that applying gel polish is like mad freaking satisfying? Because trust, something about it, y'all. All right. Yep, almost done. I just wish I had this stupid thing didn't go vertical. I was trying to do it horizontal. I thought I set it up right, but it didn't work. I'm going with purple, gold, and white. I don't know what exactly I'm doing with them, but those are going to be the colors that are meshed today. I don't think I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do... I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to do kind of like a plaid. Kind of. So you can do your own nails, y'all. It's not hard at all. It's very doable. Yes, it will take time, but if you really commit to it, or if it's something that you are interested in doing, it's not hard to learn. You can most definitely learn. It can help you save money if you're on that budget tip. It can also help you it can help you save money if you're on the budget tip. It's something that, again, you can kind of train yourself to do. It's not hard. It's, I don't even know, man. Sometimes I just feel like folks need to just give themselves a chance. Oops. How about I go to the camera, duh? Yeah, I'm keeping this design not simple. It's supposed to be a plaid. I should have started off another way, but because I'm rushing and I'm tired, I'm not trying to mess around. So I am going to do a basic plaid and hope that it works out. And because of how I'm doing it, I don't necessarily need to dry it all the way full time. Very basic. When you do your nail art, It's up to interpretation. There's no right or wrong. There's no good or bad. You rock what works for you. Art is expressive. Line work is probably the hardest thing you'll ever have to learn when you're doing nail art. Just so you know. And all I'm doing is just some really basic dots. Hope you can see that. Very basic, simple, easy. See, I'm so impatient, I don't even want to wait for it to dry. That's how bad it can get, y'all. And that's okay. I am grateful for anybody who chose to join me on my live today. Thank you so much. I had some time on my hands. I was like, if I don't get this out of the way now, I got problems. Plus, I'm going out on Friday and Saturday, and I need to get my nails done. So, I appreciate your support, y'all. You don't know, this YouTube journey is such a fascinating thing. Maybe not to others, they may not be like as interested in it, or they may not really care much about the whole thing, or maybe to them it's just whatever, it's just YouTube. But in actuality, like for those of us that are out here doing creation and that are trying to elevate our game, this is something that we really do work hard at. And the support of the communities, when you guys tune into our lives or when you guys watch a video, like I'm a person, unless it's like really bad, if I click on your video, I'm generally gonna stay watching it until the end because I know what it takes to create a video and I don't want to fake support nobody. Like, unless it's really horrible, I'm not backing out of your video. You're gonna get 100% of my view rates. I just feel like I owe that to a creator, knowing what it's like being a creator. And I'm aware not everybody will pay that forward, nor am I asking anybody to. But I do believe that supporting people in this community is important. And I do believe that creators do try their best. Not everyone's going to be perfect on an edit. Not everyone's going to know how to cut stuff. Not everyone's... All of that stuff you learn as you go. And you know, if you've ever watched content creators that say make improvements one video at a time, when you start, you kind of get what they're saying. You're not going to have everything perfect off the hop. But even if you're uncomfortable, you don't want to do a face channel, or you're just doing something like what I'm doing, you're doing nails. If you don't do it, you're not going to know what you need to do, and you won't be able to make the improvements and all of those. So it's important to get started. Just start. Pick up the cameras, turn it on, start filming, and learn as you go. All right, here's what I got. I can work with this. All right, I'm gonna apply a top coat real quick so I can get some extra shiny. There are different types of top coats when you're applying a gel polish or a top coat. There's some that are no wipe, meaning like right after it comes out of the light, you don't need to wipe it off, or you don't need to wipe the sticky part off. And then there's the ones that are a wipe top coat, meaning after it comes out of this light, you have to wipe the sticky part off, the inhibition layer. So know what type of top coat you're using before you apply it. That way, when you're finished, you don't accidentally, not that you can mess up your job. Once it's dry, but you don't want nothing sticking to that inhibition layer without cleaning it properly, because it won't just wipe. You can't just wash it away. You have to wipe it away. Some people, when they do nail designs, they like to do a double top coat because sometimes it can help hold in the work, especially if it's artwork. But if it's a shitty ass top coat, then it defeats the purpose. So just make sure the product that you're using is quality, because you don't want to do all of this work for nothing. Most top coats take 60 seconds to dry. Some take 30. Check the label. If your product is proper, the label is going to tell you. There's a bunch of different top coats. You can use ones that are related to the same brand. Most brands recommend you use the same products with each other. Some brands you can mix and match. It depends on the formulation, so you're risking it every time you do it unless you know the product that you're using for applying base and top coats, okay? So you can mix it. Like if I have one brand's top, see, look, it's dry. I can touch it. A little sticky. So one brand's top coat I may be able to touch or may be able to use with another brand's, but not always, necessarily, not always. So it's not a for sure thing. Check the brand first. All right, dust off in between. We're just gonna again go through, apply a quick base coat. I am not doing anything fancy on this side. Very sorry. It's again the non-dominant. Which means I don't have the patience. Haha. All my music turned off on me. Alexa said, forget you. Oh, that's another confession I have as a nail tech. I hate these brushes. Did I ever tell anybody this before? Maybe in a previous live. Do any of you guys hate using these brushes that come out of the bottle? Personally, I hate them. Yeah, only people that watch the live to the end are gonna know these secrets. But I hate them. No disrespect. I don't know what it is about them, whether it's the fact that they're not shaped to your nail. Some of them are, but it's just, okay, look, if this is a full product, the product is going to get all the way up to here. So by the time you pull it out of the jar, even if you wipe it off 6 times, it's still dripping down into your nail. Why? Why doesn't it have the ability to, I don't know, when you pull it out the bottle, instantly wipe it down so it's not too much on the brush? So it's not all running all the way down the brush. Why does that happen? And then you overflow the nail. And you know what? When you're applying gel polish, never apply it thick. The reason is because it's got to cure with a light. If you go, especially dark colors or very opaque colors, the non-translucents, if you put those colors into a lamp and they're so thick the lamp can't get through to the bottom, that's what causes some of those gel polishes to curdle or crack or bubble up or get gummy and all of that, because the light couldn't even cure it because it was so thick. That's why they always tell you to go in with thin layers of polish, because if you go too thick, the light won't be able to cure it, yo. And that is not okay. You need to make sure your polish is all the way cured, or you're legit just pointlessly wearing polish that is just going to come off the second after you put it on. So make sure it's not thick when you're applying it. Very thin applications, so that the light can go through it. And make sure you do the right amount of time. 60 seconds, 30 seconds, or 120 seconds. If you're using a UV lamp, it's usually double the time that it would be if you were just using if you were using an LED lamp. A lot of people don't know that either. So for example, I'm gonna do this side a little different though. So for example, if you're using a polish that says it needs 6 minutes in LED and, hear me, 30 seconds in LED, that means it probably needs 60 seconds in UV. Or if it says it needs 60 seconds in LED, then it probably needs 120 seconds in UV. So be mindful of that when you are using your lamps. And make sure whichever lamp you use, you just make sure you use the right time to cure your polish, or else it won't dry. Trying to copy the design. I can't remember what I did. And the lamps don't take like a whole bunch of power. The lights are replaceable for most of them. Not necessarily the LED ones though. But the UV lamps, those old school ones we used to use in the salon back in the day, you can buy replaceable bulbs for those. If anybody is still here and can give me a thumbs up in the chat, I would appreciate it, just so I can know who I'm catering to, because I can't really see what's going on the screen. Every time I do a live, it's like I mess it up. But I'm learning as I go. And I'm too lazy to wait. See what happens? You get impatient. Most nail designs are messed up because people are impatient. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Hey. when you're doing a plaid design, if you kind of want it to be more proper looking, do one color at a time over the other. Don't do um, like how, for example, I'm taking the white and I'm now going with the white up, and then I'm drying and coming back and doing white again. I mean, I could technically, if I wanted to. See, all with practice. Even as a pro, I'm not good at it. And I'm working with the non-dominant hand. Oops. Oh well. You will learn to appreciate imperfection or perfection and imperfection if you don't already. And I think that's something that people learn to develop over time. Not everything is going to be perfect the way we want it to be. As much as we hope and we wish and we pray, and that's for a lot of things in life. So as long as you're satisfied, you put in a real good effort, and you don't lazy it out, you should always be happy with the results. And when you learn to be grateful for those results, that's when bigger and better does come. People just don't notice because they're too hung up thinking about what didn't come. Everything in the time that it's meant to be will come. I got to do these guys. I know where my camera angle is, you can't really see. I'm not trying to do the color in the color. I'm trying to make sure all the colors will be visible. But seriously, perfection and imperfection. Nobody's perfect. We were all created in our own lights and in our own ways, but we're all human and we're all susceptible to making mistakes. So trial and error is the best way to learn, because if you don't even try, how are you going to know what you need to perfect, if anything? Or how are you going to critique yourself if you don't even come through with a real effort? You can't beat yourself up if you didn't try, right? So I think it's mad important for us to give ourselves some grace and at least put in the effort to do the things we really want to do and see where it takes us. I think I want to put the gold in the middle. In the middle. In the middle. Remember, non-dominant hand. Doing too much. Alright. Almost there. Nail design is up to interpretation. You will never get a design on your first try. Everybody has to practice this ish. Because even the slightest or the wrong pressure on a hand can determine whether or not you get the line as thin or as thick as you want it. So be aware of that. when you're doing work because pressure matters. um, is that my friend's mom on TV? Sorry for that distraction. Whoa. We have a carnival happening this weekend. If y'all have never been to Toronto, come down usually the first weekend in August for what we have called Caravana. It's almost like Memorial Day weekend in Miami or in Atlanta, but more Caribbean related. It's when all of the island people then come out and everybody enjoys a fete in the streets. If you've never been to the GTA, come through. We are hospitable people here. And that event is welcome to everybody. Come shake your bum and eat some food and lime, as they would tell you if you were in the islands. Come and lime, which essentially just means drink and chill. All right. This is a top coat I'm applying because I'm ready to be done with this. I think you should always have your nails presentable. They don't need to be fancy designed. They don't need to be super duper fancy polish or loud. They just need to be clean, kempt. And if you do bite your nails, it's important because remember that's all germs and nasty. You don't want that in your mouth. Please don't bite your nails. It's a bad habit. And that's coming from someone who used to be a hardcore nail biter, so trust, I know. Short nails are cute too. People forget that's where everybody starts. All right, so I have applied the top coat. I have applied a nice little simple design. I'm gonna show you that in a second. Let this dry out. I like to clean as I go, so you'll hear me tittering away in the background. Clean as you go, yo. Clean as you go is so important because you don't want to be sitting at your table or sitting at your desk or wherever you're doing your nails when you're done and having to stress about a massive cleanup. So we're basically done. Thank y'all who came through. That means a lot. See, look, dry. I could touch, I could touch, I could touch, I could touch. All right. Last thing I'm gonna do is give myself some re-moisturification, seeming as how I took it all out while doing all of the work. And essentially, I'm just oiling back my hands, y'all, because oiling your cuticles is important. It's all part of what makes and what keeps those nails happy and healthy. You gotta oil them, man. Like, it's requirements. So doing this before you go to your bed and throwing some oil in your hand lotion throughout the day. Listen, I spend my life in the sink washing dishes. Like, real talks, I am always in the kitchen washing dishes. So trust when I say your hands can handle it if you do what you're supposed to, and your nails will be strong enough to manage. But here we are. This is my finished look. Let's see. Where's the smoothing camera when you want it? Haha. Here's my finished look. We are all done. I just kept it very minimal. But that's it. We're all done, yo. I appreciate you if you came through on this. Again, if you leave me a thumbs up or let me know that you were in this chat or in this live. That will help me. I'm going to start doing giveaways soon, y'all. Also, know that if there is any way you would like to support me, I do have an avenue by way of Buy Me a Coffee, so you are more than welcome to hit me on that link there. But other than that, nail care is not hard, y'all. Yes, it takes me a little bit of extra time because I have to do the live and get everything situated and blah, blah, blah. But ultimately, if you're doing nail care for yourself, you can do this. It's manageable. You don't need to have a whole bunch of products. You don't need to keep a whole salon in your house. Like I said, you need a cuticle pusher, you need a nail file, you need a brush, and you need a place for it to all fall. That's it. And once you do that, you can use that space to do your nails the way that you want them done. So I just want to thank you again for coming through on this live. I am ready to peace out. I hope you guys are all blessed. And again, I will see you when it's time to refill this bad boy. Let's see how long it takes for the grow out to happen. And then I can you can basically estimate or see the growth for yourself, okay? But I appreciate y'all. Thank you for coming through. Stay blessed.